currently 8:23 in the morning, and the next couple days are packed with a dope opportunity. But before I let you in on where I'm going, let me give you the structured breakdown of how this video is going to look like. Also, peep the new lens. This is the Laowa 10mm. I made a short on this a little bit ago. It's one of my favorite creative lenses, and I'm so excited to start using it in a long form piece of content. If you're new to the series, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, this should be a nice refresher. I've been daily driving the Z Fold 7 since the pre-order. Over the next 3 days, I'll be doing a deep dive into this device, and by the end, I want you to be confident to know whether this device is worth upgrading or whether you should skip this year's model. Day one, which is today, is going to be heavily focused on battery. This is by far one of the most important things that I look for, especially in a new device or a device that I'm upgrading to. For brief context, I'm not big on paper specs. I much rather like to see how they actually perform in a real world test. Day two's main focus will be on the camera system. How do they perform with basic photo, video, log video, raw photos, editing photos, the whole shebang, you get the point. And finally, day three is going to be all about performance, usability, and functionality. How practical is this year's Fold model? And if you're like me, this is actually my first time ever testing a foldable. So does this make sense for me, and does this make sense for you? Because day one is solely focused on battery, the way I actually go about testing this is I've started my day with 100% charge, and I will drain this to complete zero. I won't be cheating as in charging it throughout the day, and only charge it if it dies. By now, you're probably wondering, where am I going? Recently, my manager brought to me a super cool opportunity that I could not say no to. And that was the chance to go check out the General Motors facility in Detroit, Michigan. Some of you may know this, but I am a huge car enthusiast. I love, live, and breathe cars. It's one of my favorite things ever. So to me, this opportunity feels like a childhood school field trip, but 10 times cooler. My flight leaves for Michigan today at 1 o'clock. It's only a 2 to 3-ish hour flight. From there, I actually have my own personal driver. That's super cool. Who will then take me to my hotel, I get settled in, and then tonight I know there's a dinner with the team, and I'm pretty sure any other creators that are going to be there. But for now, I have to lock in and finish packing. I started last night, but you know how things go. You start, and then you take a shower, brush your teeth, and you realize I need everything that I just packed. Maybe that's just me. I get a lot of questions on what I bring for travel trips and opportunities like this. When it comes to the actual gear side of things, I try to keep things very, very simple to pack as lightly as I possibly can. Because this trip is pretty short, I will just be bringing a carry-on for the day. One of the first few things that I actually check in the morning is my Ultra Human app, which is my fitness wearable ring that I've had on for over a month now. I bought this for myself because I initially got one for my fiance and really liked hers. Sleep has always been a struggle for me. This is just not looking good at all. I only got 6 hours and 30 minutes. 4 full cycles, not terrible, but it gives you a score. It's not good for training like sports or high intensity exercises, but the sleep is super dialed. The stress levels, caffeine window intake is gotta be one of my favorite features ever. And not to mention viewing it on a much larger screen with in-depth, results showing deep sleep, REM sleep, all the little metrics. Just a cool little feature I like to experience on a foldable device. I try to mention this in every video. If you're interested about anything, I will have links in the YouTube description to all my gear, packing essentials, my ring, cameras, all that stuff. You get the point. I am a chronic overpacker. I literally only need maybe 3 outfits, and I pack like 6 just to make sure. One of the things I already know I'm going to desperately miss is the Flighty app. If you are a frequent flyer, this app is amazing. I paid for the full version because this app really is that good. Fortunately, I'm going to have to live without it because it is not supported on the Google Play Store. It is so incredibly detailed. If any of you lifelong Android users have a alternative or something that works very similarly, please put me on. I got to the airport, went through security, and made it to my gate with 88% battery. For situations where I have time to kill, having a 2-in-1 device is so convenient. Usually I do prefer earbuds, even as a frequent flyer, but recently I got my hands on these Sony XM6s, and I can't seem to take them off. And with a screen perfect for multitasking, this might be my favorite combo. After we landed, I made my way down and was greeted by my driver. My driver had a lot of experience with these types of events. He even told me there's a chance I could drive one of the cars.
They almost always let you drive something.
That is so cool.
They handle their own camera.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I
feel like I don't belong here. All the way to Detroit, Michigan. Let's take a tour. Floors are like, got a light here, light here. Then to the right of that, we have more doors, a mini fridge. Whoa. I love the lighting. The lighting is beautiful. What? Welcome, Jaden. We got 4 big pillows. This is a beautiful bed. Is this a wireless charger with Qi 2 charging? Nah. You're lying. Wait, I can't cheat on the battery test. Oh my goodness, I almost cheated. Okay, never mind. Some ports for charging. This will be perfect for camera gear. The view is okay. My driver was very, very nice, pointing me in the direction of a lot of cool places. I'm not one to just sit in my room and sleep or be afraid. I love exploring new places, whether that's just like walking around looking like I don't know what I'm doing. Like, to me, that's the fun of it. So after I get situated in my room, that's exactly what we're gonna do. But now, let's talk about the phone. I was basically on social media the entire time, catching up on Twitter, TikTok, responding to comments, all that good stuff. It's currently 4:02 and we are sitting at 46% battery, which is impressive. I did use the full screen mode quite a bit to consume YouTube content, even TikTok and Instagram, because the Z Fold 7 is so well optimized for social media that is actually something viable that you can do. It's not like using an iPad and it doesn't feel optimized. Like, this device is actually built for social media, which makes consuming it on a larger screen much more satisfying. I also took a few pictures and videos, but mainly it was social media use. So for this phone to be sitting at 46%, which is dipping just below the halfway point, and we're entering the evening, I'm pretty impressed. For reference, my iPhone 16 Pro would probably be sitting in the high 30s right now. So this is definitely nice to know that this is keeping up way better. A lot of people are wondering how they still fit the same size battery, but when you factor in all the things that they took out and then kept consistent, it kind of makes sense. At this time, I do gotta swap an SD card out and charge a couple batteries, so I'm gonna get situated in here. Dinner is at 6 and it's currently only 4:10. I think what I'm going to do is explore for about an hour-ish, come back, shower, change, and then meet down in the lobby for the dinner, because I have to dress up in business casual and look a lot more presentable than what I'm wearing right now. So let's do that. This is such a cool place. Like, it's giving small town area. Like, there's not a lot of high-rise buildings, but it's got really, really cool, like, small buildings, small movie theaters. Very, very unique. I'm loving it. Holy, beautiful R8. Such a clean spec. I am yet to see a collab box car. Everything here is nice. Everything's an Audi, Cadillac, Range Rover, Bentley. Like, what? Exploring the city, more like car spotting. This is sick. I'm also trying to take as many pictures as I possibly can with this device. Lamborghini spotted. I'm going to see that. I think it's a Huracan. Look at this thing. Super random, but something that I initially hated on with the iPhone 16 Pro and 16 was the camera capture button. But every time I actually go to take out my Z Fold 7 and go to take a picture, I'm kind of missing that quick camera launch feature. And I know you can set it up and make it quicker, but as a new transitioner to this ecosystem and device, it's kind of something the dedicated button, now that I think about it, maybe I shouldn't have hated on it. Maybe I take back what I said, because I'm kind of missing it. This is beautiful. I do have to say, for the first time, I'm actually feeling the phone get physically hot. I mean, that's to be expected. But other than that, charging, transferring files, all that good stuff hasn't given me an issue yet with heat, so it's a good sign, especially with how thin this device is. Another thing too that's kind of driving me insane with just day-to-day use is because the camera lenses protrude so much, whenever I stick them into my pocket, in my shorts, or whatever it may be, it's always grabbing. I have to like bend it a weird way to put it in my pocket. It's kind of frustrating, not super convenient. currently 5:50. I have to be down in 10 minutes. Thankfully, it's only about 3 minutes to get down. Just got showered, all dressed up, ready to go. I will be leaving the camera here. I will maybe get some clips here and there with my phone, but I just feel it's professional if I could leave this here. Just got back. It is currently 9:04. The dinner lasted for almost a little over 2.5 hours, but met a lot of cool people that are here on the trip, as well as people that will be leading it. Nonetheless, thankfully the restaurant was only like a couple blocks over because it actually just started raining. To wrap things up for the day, my battery is currently sitting at 21%. Mainly just consumed social media throughout the day on my flight, was on my email quite a bit, and used my camera quite a bit as well. So for it to be sitting like this with absolutely zero charge is pretty impressive. This to me is what a typical day looks like, a lot of heavy social media consumption. It is my job. I'm either posting, catching up on other people's posts, or actually responding to comments. So that is where the majority of my main use will be. I'm gonna wind down for the night and get some early sleep because I gotta be up bright and early in the morning. Morning. I just showered. We get picked up at 8, so I figured it gives me enough time to eat breakfast, get my things situated, pack all my gear and the things I need before we actually head off. But because we are on day 2, this whole day is completely focused on the camera. So today, you and me find out whether this device performs like a $2,000 phone should.
My sleep needs so much help, and this app always reminds me of that. Something I am noticing just with daily use is the fingerprint sensor is kind of frustrating.
It's too inconsistent, and if your fingers are slightly sweaty or not perfectly dry, it won't even recognize it at all. I will say a little tip I've learned is to set multiple fingers, so like an index finger, both thumbs, just in case, you know, you can't use the same finger that you binded originally, just to make your life easier. For some reason, it always defaults to my finger, and then I have to click facial recognition just because it's so much easier. Taste test. The drive to the Milford Proving Grounds was about an hour, which made for the perfect time to post my short on all my platforms. Because I am a MacBook user, I was able to send over the video file in the hotel room thanks to Local Send. I found this to be an amazing alternative and solution to AirDrop. Upon arrival, we went through a quick check-in and introduction, and from there we were headed straight to the off-road experience. Okay. 1,200 horsepower in that thing?
1,100? Yeah, 1,100.
Where I had the opportunity to feel the power of an 1,100 horsepower Silverado EV ZR2. Not only was I in the hands of a professional driver, but this was my first time experiencing a modified EV vehicle at this level, and the instant torque felt like nothing I've ever experienced before.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Usually what I say.
The battery, it gets so hot, but the cooling is so good. Like you don't smell exhaust, you just smell rubber burning. Next, I was able to off-road in a Hummer EV.
A little bit of that.
And this is also like convertible, I guess, technically,
It's all for the roof panel. The truck can raise itself up, right? There's also extract mode where it would go up 6 inches. So like stuff like these rocks coming up, if you wanted to just totally clear them with no problem. It's like a cheat code.
I was given the rundown of how this tank of a truck is able to effortlessly climb over rocks and steep hills with no issue.
Like I say, this is where the real benefit is, because if you watch the camera a little bit, you can see like I can kind of just put the rear wherever I think it might get the best traction to walk on these pieces of asphalt.
He's not struggling like one bit.
Yeah, they're pretty capable.
Very, I can tell. How much does this weigh?
I think we quote the pickup as being about 9,000 pounds.
Wow.
It's something you never notice when you're behind the wheel, though.
Yeah, they feel so nimble.
Yeah, they drive a lot smaller than they are, right?
It's safe to say, after this experience, I want one myself. I then had the opportunity to drive a GMC Denali EV towing a 5,000-pound trailer. I just drove this entire thing. This is a whole private strip.
It's unreal. Towed 5,000 pounds like it was nothing. Crazy. But so far, the only thing that I've run into is whenever I take a lot of raw photos back to back to back and it has to process it, the phone gets physically very hot. I don't know if that's just because it's an external app that you have to download, but it's just been giving me that issue of just heating up in my hand. Not uncomfortably, but just something that I'm noticing.
We had a small break in between events, which made for the perfect time to test out log video. I don't actually recommend that the average person shoot and log. Don't get me wrong, I love having pro level features in a flagship device. But not only does it consume an insane amount of space, but the phone gets physically hot and it drains your battery nearly twice as fast. I did throw on a basic simple conversion. No adjustments were made. This is about as raw and real as log video gets after being corrected. Finally, we went to the private straightaway track, where I got to feel the 0 to 60 of the Hummer EV. For a truck that weighs almost 10,000 pounds, for it to output this much power is insane.
Oh my god! Okay, we're finally back at the hotel. It is currently 6:13. Let's talk about how the camera performed today, because I actually had a lot of fun. Today was honestly the perfect day. It was cloudy in the morning and then sunny towards the afternoon. And on the hour-long drive on the way back, I was really able to just take a look at all the pictures and videos and just assess how they performed and some of the things I'm noticing about the camera system. Let's first address the pros. 200 megapixel camera sensor that is used on the S25 Ultra is really good, and that's to be expected. If you're shooting things without zooming in or using the ultra wide lens, it's going to perform and result in a really high quality picture. What I also like is I can legit take a 200 megapixel camera selfie. I can't think of a single phone that lets you do that in the convenient way that this device does. So if you're ever out with a group of people or friends and one of them says, hey, let's take a 0.5, instead of just guessing how to frame your shot, you really can dial it in. Plus, you're using a way better camera sensor versus the punch hole front-facing camera. Tying into that, I really like shooting video with the screen fully open. I have a bigger viewfinder, and I can even use it as almost like a tripod slash gimbal if it's something that I want to prop up or just hold in my hands. I feel like I have a lot more stability. Now for the cons. While the 200 megapixel selfie camera is great, I'm constantly touching screens. This is a fingerprint magnet, and for some reason I constantly mistouch my lenses, and there were a couple times where I'd go to take a picture and I'm like, why does that look so blurry? And I'd wipe my lens off and I'd be good. So I don't like how I feel like I'm touching a lot of screen. I know that's more device related, but I'm accidentally just touching the lenses. It's not my favorite. Second, and this is an underwhelming feature I had anticipated would not live up to my expectations, and that's the ultra wide and telephoto lens. Look, it's just not on par to where a $2,000 phone should be. The telephoto lens, and it just underperforms. And finally, this is just something I'm noticing after using this quite a bit. Images come out extremely sharp. This isn't just an issue with Android or Samsung devices. My iPhone shoots everything overexposed, and I always have to drop the exposure meter to -3 or -7. On the way back, throwing everything into Lightroom just to experiment close-up shots, I do like and prefer the sharpness. It definitely adds to that extra detail, but for landscape photos or photos where I'm just capturing a lot, I don't really like all the sharpness. Missing the S Pen is really hitting me. You open the screen and you hit edit, especially on an image with this much screen real estate and zooming in. I mean, I want that fine detail, right? Not just with my finger. I want it with like an Apple Pencil or an S Pen in this case. So pretty bummed out that that was gone, but I understand that not very many people actually used it and it leads to more efficiency, so I get it. Final day, I just showered, fully packed. Now it's time to get some breakfast. If you forgot, today's topic is all about functionality and practicality.
On the last day, we showed up at the Pontiac facility where we got to see how EV motors are designed, built, and tested in a variety of different ways. I even got hands-on with real-world parts that were used to craft the electric motors in the ZR1X. Seeing all the effort that these engineers put into crafting, testing, and perfecting these EV motors is really cool. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, we're finally back. I'm exhausted. It's currently 10:36 and the phone is sitting at 8%. To wrap this video up, let me close with my thoughts on today's focus and then the overall phone's focus and who I think this device is for. Doom scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, watching movies and long form YouTube videos. This is just so good. The display is so crisp, so clear, and I'll be the first to say the camera punch hole really isn't that much of an annoyance as I thought it would be. On the way back, I had a guy ask me about the new Z Fold 7 because he saw I had it, and he asked me, is it worth it? My response to him is the same response I'll give to you. My surface level answer was, it's not perfect, but it's really good. I then followed up with, I don't know if it's $2,000 good. A surprising thing for me was definitely the battery life, but a disappointing thing for me was the camera performance. Another pro is the efficiency of how well this phone is designed and how well it actually performs. And another con is it's an absolute fingerprint magnet. I mean, your fingerprints will be all over the device, so you're constantly wiping it with your shirt to just get a clear viewing experience. Look, I think if you're somebody that values consuming media in all forms, this is your go-to device. It's a unique device that is in its own category. I just think when you really look at the price, it just makes this device hard for me to justify. This may be a hot take. Again, this is coming from a lifetime Apple user. You can see all the boxes. I genuinely believe in the past year, the S25 Ultra is the greatest smartphone device that we've seen announced. Considering this device is $700 cheaper, has a better battery, a better camera, and even the capability of the S Pen. I'm really curious though, your take. Is this a device you already have? Is it something you're considering? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to discuss. With that said, that's gonna wrap up the days in the life with the Z Fold 7, and I will catch you guys in the next one.